Shalom. First off, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahawah Chakadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who have taught us this word and teach us this word today. And I want to give a salutation unto the elect of the nation of Israel. This is the brother Yatazakba with the GMS Nebraska camp. This is GMS Endeavor. And in this lesson, I want to go into a couple articles that I've been made privy to today from the Akim. And, this article here from the ChristianPost.com, Labor Council seeks to imprison street preachers up to 2 years for causing offense and distress. And also this post from abcnews.com, homegrowns are next. Trump doubles down on sending American quote-unquote criminals to foreign prisons. So both these articles have heavy implications on prophecies that we read about in the scriptures, things that us in this truth will have to suffer, and let's just go ahead and get into it. We're going to start off with this article here from Christian Post, about them talking about imprisoning street preachers up to 2 years. So it says, a Labour Party-run council in England has sparked outrage by proposing a sweeping injunction that could imprison Christian street preachers for up to 2 years over claims of causing offense or distress. Now, the thing is, one, this is something going on in England right now. This isn't in the U.S., but this is something that we're going to eventually see in the U.S. and also in England and different countries around the world where the truth is being preached. Because, yes, this is being directed towards Christians, but what the focus is going to ultimately be is us who have the testimony of Yahweh Shai, us who are teaching the truth of these scriptures. Because what Esau wants to do is get us off of these streets. Let's read on a little bit. I want to go to a specific part. Let's read this real fast. It says the council, reading from right here, the council initially applied for the injunction in February, citing complaints about noise, public disruption, and distress caused by street preachers. Under the proposed terms, Christians will be banned from praying for individuals without prior consent, handing out religious leaflets or Bibles by hand, and laying hands on people in prayer, even with permission. So, they're coming after Christians, and it makes sense that they're coming after Christians, because Esau isn't going to want the Bible in any fashion as a part of his new system. When we get into this beast system, when Esau has fully implemented the image of the beast, science is going to take precedent. Esau's religion, Esau's beliefs is what is going to be pushed on the populace. He doesn't want people believing in the Most High, because as the scriptures say in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, he sits in the seat as the Most High, seeing that he is the Most High. The scriptures talk about in different places, in the book of Isaiah, in the book of Ezekiel, how Esau's pride causes him to basically try to rival the Most High, and that's what Esau is going to do in this beast system. So it makes sense that he's coming after Christianity, but Christianity isn't the true threat, because they're not preaching the truth. The Holy Spirit has been given unto the elect of the nation of Israel, the men of the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the true prophets that are out on the corners preaching, that are out doing these videos. We have the right doctrine. We are waking the people up, and this truth that we preach by the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai is threatening to Esau, because as this truth goes out, this is a prerequisite to Esau's fall. And so now this is the part that I wanted to read, and we'll read this last part from this article, and I'll leave the links for both of these articles in the description below, Lord's will. But this is the part that I want to get to. It says the injunction also sought to prohibit approaching individuals to discuss religion and preaching messages that could be perceived as hostile toward protected characteristics such as age, gender, or sexual orientation. Viol- Violations of the injunction could result in fines, arrests, and a maximum prison sentence of 2 years. So, um, I wanted to read that because you see that it's saying for if you are basically preaching messages that are hostile towards certain groups of people, that's means to stop you from street preaching. That's means to imprison you. And it's saying here for up to 2 years. And what do we preach out on the highways? We preach destruction to the 2/3. We preach destruction to Esau. We come against the LGBTQ community. We come against the NW. We come against wickedness. And a lot of these different groups that are protected in the world have root in wickedness, and we condemn those things when we preach. We talk about the coming destruction to Esau's kingdom, and he's not going to want us out there speaking about these things. So he's going to make it to where we can be in prison for it. And so let's grab a precept, Salakia. We're going to grab Isaiah chapter 29, verse 21, which says that make a man an offender. Well, let's start at verse 20. It says, "For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off. That make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate." So Esau is going to be brought to nothing. Esau is going to be destroyed, and for many reasons. But what we're focusing on here, look what he's doing. It's lining right up with prophecy. He's going to make a man an offender for a word. He's laying a snare or a trap for us who reprove in the gate. And who are those who reprove in the gate? It's the prophets. It's us. It's us with this wisdom that are crying aloud on the streets, rebuking our people, telling our people to get right. Reproving the wicked and telling them to repent or be destroyed amongst our people, letting the 2/3 know, letting Esau and all the wicked amongst this earth know that they're going to be destroyed. And so a snare is being laid for us. That snare being these laws and the decrees that Esau is going to write to get us off of the streets, to stop us from putting up these videos. You already see brothers channels getting flagged, getting taken down. Brothers have to make other channels. Eventually Esau is just going to shut this whole operation down. So it says that make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. Now what this is going to lead to is Amos chapter 8 verse 11, which says, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord." So there's going to be a famine of the word, when we're not going to be on the internet anymore preaching. We're not going to be on the corners anymore preaching, because it's going to be a thing to where you're going to be in prison for doing these things. We're going to be banned from uploading these videos. We're not going to be able to do it anymore. And brothers are going to go through trials of being in prison, as the scriptures prophesy. Let's get Revelation chapter 2 verse 10, which says, "Fear none of these things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried." And why is Esau going to cast us into prison? Because of this testimony, because we're preaching this word, and we are coming against his evil agenda. But as it's saying it here in this scripture, fear none of those things. We are being prepared for those times right now. This is a time of testing. It says that we're going to be cast into prison so that we may be tried. And when we get that word tried, it's Strong's G3985, which is to try whether a thing can be done, to attempt, endeavor. It says to try, make trial of, test, for the purpose of ascertaining his quality, or what he thinks, or how he would behave himself. So basically, the Lord is putting us to the test. It's going to be a part of that purification of gold. And as the scriptures say, gold is tried in the fire and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. For us to be purified, we're going to have to go through different adversities. One of those adversities being imprisonments. So some of us are going to be in prison for this word. It says, and you shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Now, those 10 days isn't literally 10 days. It's basically, whatever amount of time that, you know, any of us who go into prison, however long we're going to be in there. There's no telling the specific amount of time. Some brothers may be in there for 10 days, shorter or longer. You know, it's going to be what it is when we get there. But it says, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So we're gonna have to go through these trials and go through these adversities, and at the end there's a reward. Now this leads me into the next article that I want to go into from ABC News. Let's read the title again, which says, homegrowns are next. Trump doubles down on sending American criminals to foreign prisons. Now, what have we seen in the news in these last couple months? We've seen Trump coming after these immigrants. Trump is coming. Really, he's mainly coming against Israel. He's coming against the Northern Kingdom heavy, and we're seeing some of the Southern Kingdom being sent out of the country, being sent. He's talking about sending them to Guantanamo Bay, sending them to these different prisons, and what he claims is that it's for the worst of the worst. It's for the worst criminals amongst these immigrants. But Esau's not going through no due process of checking everybody's rap sheet, who needs to go to these prisons and who don't. No, Esau's just sending them off. If it's up to Trump, man, just send them to the prison. And when we read into this article that's going to be made apparent. It says, President Donald Trump on Monday doubled down on his idea of sending U.S. citizens to foreign prisons, telling El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele he wanted to send homegrown criminals to his country next. It says, the comments came as Trump welcomed Bukele, a key partner in his migrant deportations, to the White House amid controversy over the Supreme Court, saying the administration should facilitate the return of a migrant from Maryland wrongfully sent to a notorious Salvadoran mega prison. So what Trump is proposing is that we need to go further than just deporting illegal immigrants. We need to start sending away some of the criminals that have citizenship here. We need to start sending away criminals that were born here. And who do you think he's going to come after? He's going to come after Jake. He's going to come after the nation of Israel. And we see that this is a part of Jacob's trouble. This isn't Jacob's trouble in its fullness, but this is an aspect of it. Because we're seeing here that right now they're going through the process of needing to return a migrant that they sent to one of these prisons that wasn't even supposed to go. So Trump is saying, oh, it's for the worst of the worst criminals. This is just for those doing severe crimes. No, Trump don't like Jake and he wants to send them away. That's what it is at the end of the day. And this is going to be a thing. Well, hey, this loops right in with what we just read in the other article, with them talking about street preachers facing up to 2 years in prison. Well, it's going to get to a point where what we do out there on the highways, us preaching this truth, will be a crime. And some brothers will be caught up with, being sent away to these different prisons. But this is going to be something that is a punishment for the 2/3 as well. You got a lot of wicked Jake that are out here, not repenting, not turning to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, that's going to be caught up with Trump trying to send, quote unquote, homegrown criminals to Salvadoran prisons in Guantanamo Bay. So let's read on. It says, as the two men entered the Oval Office, before reporters were allowed in the room, Trump discussed his proposal to send what he called American criminals accused of violent crimes to El Salvador, and told Bukele he needed to build more prisons to house them. Trump said they need to build 5 more prisons because he trying to fill them. He trying to fill them prisons up. Hey, and we know Trump goes hard in the paint for Israel, and not the true nation of Israel, for them Jew rats over there today. He go hard in the paint about them, and we condemn them. We are bringing out the truth on who they are, and that's seen as what? Anti-Semitism. Now we already know that they're trying to make anti-Semitism a serious crime, to where you can face jail time for it, to where you can be convicted for acts of anti-Semitism. And this is going to be a reason for Trump to start sending people away that say these different things, that preach these different things. So I was just let's grab one more precept real fast about the cruel Lord. This is Isaiah chapter 19 verse 4. It says, "And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, said the Lord of hosts." So who's that cruel Lord? Who's that fierce king that's ruling over the Egyptians right now? It's Trump. The Egyptians, Egypt, Salakia, America is spiritually Egypt. The scriptures say that here is spiritually Sodom and Egypt. This place is also spiritually Babylon the Great. So that cruel Lord, that fierce king, we believe that to be Trump, because we see the different things that Trump is trying to do. This is a prime example on how he is that cruel Lord. He's talking about they need to build 5 more prisons because he's trying to send people away. He's wrongfully sending people to these Salvadorian prisons, and Trump is on tyrant behavior, and it's only going to get worse. And so I was just reading this article, and this other one with them talking about street preachers being in prison, and this is just we're taking step by step, walking into prophecy. We see it all lining up. We have to get mentally prepared, because yes, with this with Trump talking about sending homegrown American criminals off to these prisons, this is going to be a thing that is going to be a punishment for 2/3. Trump is going to be coming after the niggas amongst the nation of Israel, but this is going to be something that we have to prepare ourselves for as well, because for those of us who hold the testimony of Yahweh Shai, we are going to be seen as criminals. We are going to be seen as evil, and the scriptures tell us to be prepared to suffer tribulation, be prepared to suffer imprisonment. We got to be prepared to oppose Esau and this beast system, no matter what that means for us, even unto death. So hey, that's all I want to bring out this lesson. Lord's will, it was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Baharach Kodash. I want to give the honors to the apostles, elders of GMS, and a salutation unto the elect. Shalom.